Welcome back to Scripps News Live. Now to a developing story. We are tracking a woman who dated music mogul Sean Diddy Combs for a decade is now accusing him of rape and physical abuse. R&B singer Cassandra Ventura, better known by her stage name Cassie, has filed a federal lawsuit against Combs in New York. In addition to rape allegations, she claims Combs drugged her and beat her during their relationship and also forced her to have sex with male prostitutes. A lawyer for Combs is denying the allegations. To dive into the details of this case, I'm joined by criminal defense attorney and radio talk show host Chandelle. Thank you so much for being here to discuss. This is a really interesting and some pretty bombshell allegations here by Cassie. The disturbing allegations from this case stem from a relationship that ended in 2018. All this stuff happened, though, in the early 2000s. And in a statement, the singer Cassie said her lawsuit was filed to finally speak up on behalf of herself and the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in relationships. For those wondering, will you help us legally understand how Cassie is able to file this after all of these years?
Good afternoon, Alexis. That's a very good question. And in New York, they passed a law in 2022 that had a one-year look-back period called the Adult Survivors Act. And under that act, you can go back and file a lawsuit for anything that happened to you as an adult over the age of 18. So if you are claiming sexual abuse, you can go back and file suit, even though the statute of limitations may have expired, years earlier. Interestingly, the Jean Carroll case against Donald Trump was also filed under the Adult Survivors Act.
Okay, so that was going to be my next question, is this is opening up the door for a lot of these cases. Like, as Cassie said, she's wanted to finally speak up. This offers an opportunity for that. Whether, the allegations become proven true or not in court, it gives people the option to at least file charges.
Yes, but the law had a one-year look-back period, so it expires on November 23rd, 2023. So just next week, it's too late to file.
Okay.
So if you're not within the statute of limitations after November 23rd, you'd be barred from filing. And it is certainly something that it sounds like in this case, they waited till the very end of the look-back period to file suit. There were some negotiations over not suing, her possibly not suing and being given some kind of compensation, but they couldn't agree to terms, is what it sounds like.
Right. We heard that she was offered up to an 8-figure settlement or compensation for this, and she said no.
Right. And Diddy's attorney says that she asked for $30 million and they consider it blackmail, so they're not paying it. But she said she was offered an 8-figure salary or 8-figure number, and that would suggest to me something in the 10 million, 20 million category. So it does sound like they had a difference as to terms. However, the question is whether or not it's credible, because she was an adult when it happened, and whether or not she's just trying to exploit a very wealthy man who's got a reputation which will take a hit from these kind of allegations. So it's a lot about branding.
Of course. Well, and, as we want to mention, Sean Combs denying all of these allegations. I want to take a look at what his lawyer has said in the responding statement. He accuses Cassie of, quote, blatant blackmail, and said this lawsuit is a result of Diddy denying a persistent demand for $30 million, or she would allegedly write a damaging book, sort of an intense he said, she said going on here. What is the burden of proof both of these parties face in making their case here? Because the allegations are really, really intense.
They are very serious allegations. The standard of proof in a civil case is a preponderance of the evidence. So you just have to prove it's more likely than not that it occurred, as compared to a criminal case where you would have to prove the evidence of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And in this situation, you're in New York State. And like I said, they've just had another very high-profile case involving Donald Trump. So New Yorkers are known for having very open-minded attitudes about victims, I think. So I think she has a pretty good chance of sustaining her burden of proof, because although the suggestion that she could have left any time is always going to be there. I mean, she was an adult. She also worked for him.
Yeah.
So it's almost akin to sexual harassment in the workplace.
And there's definitely a power dynamic there.
Right, there's a power control dynamic when you have somebody like Diddy and a woman whose whole career rests upon his approval. So I think that she does have a very strong case.
And things like, would it be things like text messages, or will she have to have, you know, some sort of physical evidence, or could it be witness testimony that brings her over the threshold here?
Absolutely. Obviously, they're saying there were male prostitutes involved. You may have testimony from those individuals. And in a civil case, you have the opportunity to do discovery before the trial. So you can go out and take the depositions of all of those people. You can subpoena them to court. They will have all of the mechanisms of the justice system at their disposal. I wouldn't expect this case would go to trial. I would expect there would be a settlement because of the damaging allegations and, like I said, the hit to his brand.
Absolutely, and that is something that is very important for him to protect. Of course, attorney and radio host Chandelle Stemmer, thank you for joining us today to discuss this. This will certainly be interesting to follow to see how this plays out.
Thank you, Alexa.